What you think about the state of Black culture? Let me be more clear, just so you can have more to go off of. All right. So I'm talking, that it's almost like every week to 2 weeks a rapper dies.
Mm-hmm.
When we were coming up, when a rapper died, it was a real big deal because it was
Yeah.
like very rare,
Yeah.
extremely rare. But now it's like every other week a rapper dies. And they die so quick that we don't even get a chance to know their names. But if we do Googles, we will see rapper, 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 rapper,
Mm-hmm.
rapper, 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 rapper. All these rappers are continuing to die. But the debate is, this is the debate, because there are people on social media now. They're starting to get loud. They're starting to get tired of it. Black people are starting to get tired of it, saying that we can't be for the music they put out and be for Black culture because it's like an oxymoron. The music that's being put out is saying murder, 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 kill, 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 disrespect women. But then when it happens, we act surprised.
Isn't that what Candace Owens been saying for like the past 5 years? And everyone calls her a sellout, a coon, Oreo, what else? Uncle Tom.
But here's the reason why, though, bro. They're saying that they don't want you doing anything for the hood if you're not there with them. We don't want you buying no community centers or buying no schools and all this other stuff. And you're not here. You want to show some love. Then you come out here and you pass out these turkeys. You come out here and you pass out these book bags at the beginning of school. You come out here and you pass them the ball so they can teach them how to shoot.
Mm-hmm. Like Nipsey Hussle, like, put a business in the hood.
Oh,
How'd that
and
work
then
out?
what? And then what?
How'd that work out? He got shot by his own people.
Right in his hood.
I think Black America or the Black culture in general will not be able to move forward until we look ourselves in the mirror and take accountability for what we have created. And nobody wants to have that conversation. Everyone wants to blame it on everything else, the fictional white man, the police, the Trump. It's always someone else. Also, what happened on Halloween, what I don't see a lot of people talking about, is the 14 people who got killed in Chicago, 3 which were kids in a drive-by shooting on Halloween. But everyone's focused on the Migos. That's subjective. I think they're a terrible group, untalented, and I understand that. When I first heard that he got shot, I didn't even know who he was because he's like the quiet one. He's like the least talented one out of the untalented. But then when the story started unfolding on what actually happened, you were a millionaire and you're a successful rapper. Why are you playing dice in the middle of the night in the hood, starting with gang members, and then a shootout happens? Why?
Yo,
Why are you still trying to live that gang life? You're successful. You made it outside of the hood. What, just to prove what? That I'm still about it?
just to prove
It's
it.
it's, it's
Just to
the
prove
it's
it.
the dumbest shit ever, in my opinion. It's these egos that they feed these egos, like they don't feel like they're authentic enough if they don't stay on the streets. There's a way you can do it. I think 50 Cent is probably a good example of someone who did it. Or even Chamillionaire. A lot of people forget that Chamillionaire,
Woo!
he had, what, one, two albums? But let's just be real. He was kind of like a one hit wonder, right? But the amount of money that he made and took that and turned it
It
into a
flipped it
business and
so
an
many
empire.
times.
Yeah, like the guy is that smart. That is who people should look up to. Um, Not just people who want to be gangster rappers and all that other stuff. Plus, like this, the rap culture right now, which is weird. Period. I feel like my parents, when I was listening to Biggie and Tupac, my parents are like, this is stupid music, this is dumb music. You don't know what
Yeah.
you're listening to. Now I'm that person. I'm that dad who's like, what are you even listening to? You can't even understand what they're saying
Yeah.
half the time.
Yeah.
And they all kind of blend in with one another. They all kind of look the same. They all look kind of crazy.
Yep.
And if anything is showing you the true nature of hip hop right now and the culture, just look at Takashi 69 and look into his investigation that happened and his arrest. Like it was all fake. Like he was all fake. He was his manufactured basically.
Every
He was
single bit of it.
manufactured.
But what happened is, and what he did was he exposed a side of hip hop
Mm-hmm.
that people wasn't paying that much attention to.
Yep.
And that's the fact that a lot of these artists are exploited by real gangsters.
Yep. And he was.
And if they don't do what the gangsters want them to do, their lives end prematurely. And
Yeah.
he decided, look, I'm saving my life. I'm snitching. I'm I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired of y'all doing this to me. How you gonna say that you my man and you having sex with my baby mama? Bruh, they gangsters. They ain't got no rules.
Yeah.
These are the rules. Now, you brought up something, bro. Halloween shooting.
Mm-hmm.
You said 13 people were shot?
14 people were shot. 14 people were killed. I'm pretty sure all
14
14 were
people was
killed. Three of them,
killed.
yes, three of them were kids. I'm pretty sure it was 14 killed. For sure, 14 got shot. And 3 kids died for sure. And the media's focus on Amigos rapper.
Guess what? Guess what? If you go on YouTube, and this is the thing, I'm not even going to stay on this because obviously this just tells me that nobody wants you to talk about it. Come on, bro. And the numbers are horrendous. The numbers are horrible. Nobody's looking at this. Nobody's talking about it. If you didn't mention it, you mentioned it yesterday. Was it yesterday or earlier today?
I think it was earlier today
earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier today. And I have not heard about this story, bro.
Yep.
Until you mentioned it.
You want to know why? And I could tell you why, because the media is perpetuating this stereotypes that we're living in anyways, and they want to continue with this divisive behavior. Because the minute I saw it pop up on the news, I was like, it's gang violence between Black people, watch. Because they didn't mention that it was a white person, no right-wing conservative, none of that stuff. But they don't want to talk about the true violence that's really happening within our culture, which is gang violence. Nobody wants to talk about it. And that's the reason why I sometimes I rock with Candace Owens and Larry Elder's conversations that they're trying to have with Black America, but no one wants to have that conversation. They'd rather focus on a cop killing a Black person versus the 14 people who got shot in Chicago, which happens apparently quite often in Chicago. And yeah, it's a temporary problem. And we're gonna go back to listening to rap. We're gonna go back to taking drugs now. That I even know it's in the rap music nowadays. When we grew up, it was all about smoking weed. That's pretty much it. Now it's this pill popping stuff that can literally fentanyl. People can die. People dying now. And these artists are rapping about it. It's cool to take these medications and that you're gonna overdose on and stuff, and talk about suicide and all this weird that we didn't grow up with. I mean, yeah, we definitely mistreated the Black women in culture. We didn't
always
we definitely did that. But now this is a weird culture. But there cannot be any real movement until we take 100% accountability and look ourselves in the mirror. Point blank, period.
Now, when you're driving, do you get afraid that you might get pulled over by a police and shot?
No, because I follow the rules. When I get pulled over, I know what to do. I put my hands on the steering wheel. I take my driver's license out. I roll down the windows, and I'm not disrespectful. I don't care how upset or how disrespectful the cop is towards me. My life is not worth dying for respect between me and a cop. It's just the same thing. Look, a cop has a gun. If a gang member comes up to you right now, Van, and he's like, yo, I like those kicks, take them off. And he's like, nah, man. And he shows you the gun. He's like, take those shoes off. What you gonna do?
Take the shoes off.
Exactly. So why you arguing with a cop? Why are you arguing with a cop?
Well, here's the thing, bro. My wife used to get so upset with me when she used to drive with me because of how we were brought up. And I'm not even going to jump into it. But every single time we got pulled over, probably more than 6-7 times. 6-7 times we got pulled over because I was speeding. And every single time the cops pulled me over, I gave them a horrible time. Why are you pulling me over? Hurry up there, man. You didn't have to pull me over for that. Seriously, are you gonna take you this long to give me a ticket? I'm going off. And the police was so nice. They were so nice. And I'm like, get out of here. What the hell? Where's the mean police? It's I wanted to feel that, but I'm looking at this is why Black Lives Matter were able to trick all these people and get all this money, because people don't really go by their own personal experiences. They go off of what they hear about and
Mm-hmm.
what they see, what's on the news. What are the news pushing? If Democrats are pushing that one black man was killed by a cop in an entire year, but they're not talking about 14 innocent people shot during Halloween. They're not talking about that at all. It's because it doesn't help their narrative. It's not going to help. It probably happened in the city that they're running for midterms right now. And they're like, look, we need to don't
Keep it on down
nobody
low.
say anything about this.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to win. And right now, that seat is being held by a Democrat. And if we start putting that out there, they're going to think that we soft on crime.
Yep. And I guarantee you there probably wasn't even a single protest between that
Not
day and today.
one.
I guess 14 black people who got killed don't matter, right?
You don't
Especially
see a
3
fist
kids.
up. You don't see a Black Lives Matter shirt. You don't see no say her name, nothing. What you will see is some GoFundMe's and people trying to get their church to raise money so that they can bury their kids. That's what you will see.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely sad. You already know I'm from Germany, so I have a very unique outlook on life. And I experienced racism on both white and black sides. So I feel like sometimes I have a good outlook on how the world works sometimes. Plus, I've been in the Middle East. I've seen the horrors and all over the world. So I've done some terrible things. So I see the world very differently than most, I think. And I used to think it was just me. I think it's just the folks that have experienced war, who've been in the military, maybe who've done the same job that I did, maybe. Because I have another black friend straight up. He's from Compton. I think it's Compton. He's one of those bad places in Cali.
Compton.
He's from Compton or something.
Quit
But
walking.
he thinks pretty much almost just like me, man. He's just like, these folks are crazy. Like, I don't understand why they don't see through the BS half the time. And you're probably absolutely right. The Chicago, the reason why they keep it on the wraps is because midterms is coming up and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Yeah.
You think it's already crazy in there going on Chicago. They're not going to try to do anything else to shake things up there. Not at all. Not at all. This just is going to lift the numbers even more. It's going to make them look horrible. They're trying to bury it. And guess what? MSNBC, CNN, ABC, they're all helping.
Yeah, yeah. And then the worst part is I can go into the finance part real quick again. Shout out my YouTube channel is called Trading with a Dummy. So
I'm sorry, guys. Trading with a Dummy. I'm gonna make sure that's on there. I'm gonna make sure that's on there.
It's funny because when I first started that whole journey, I was really embedded in like the Black financial literacy group because I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like we're getting away from all this hood stuff. Everyone's talking about, Black finance, like making us financially literate and stuff. And you see like P. Diddy talking about it, 50 Cent talking about all these rappers. And then what ended up happening? A bunch of Black folks taking advantage of other Black folks. And it's just, it never ends. A lot of times we do this to ourselves. And it's really weird because my grandfather, he served in Vietnam War, Black man who didn't get the GI Bill or the veterans benefits and still managed to, I mean, he was kind of a bum, but they still managed to buy a house. They still managed to, get their life together. And they experienced real segregation, real racism. My great granddad, like all that stuff, cotton fields, they experienced the real hardship of what it was to be Black in America. Right. And it's not the same now like it was 60, 70 years ago. And I hate that people are trying to use that as an excuse on why they're not successful here in 2022. Like, bro, come on, man. Like, stop. You've never experienced where you can't go into a store because you're Black. I have in Germany. Probably would have never happened in America, but I have. My name was N. I told you that whole story for the first 3 years of my school year.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah,
you did tell me that, bro. You did tell me that.
That's why I lack empathy on some of this whining, complaining about how the white man's holding them down. Yeah, life's unfair. But just because it's unfair does not mean that you have an excuse to be a bum. You have an excuse to kill your own. You have an excuse to destroy your own community. You have an excuse to not do anything with yourself. You don't have an excuse to teach your kids how to behave properly. Like, stop using all these excuses to create another generation of lowlives. This is not what the civil rights movement was about. This is not what Martin Luther King was talking about. It's not what Malcolm X was talking about. It's not what the Black Panthers were talking about. We have, as a community, I think a lot, I'm not saying all of us, but there's a huge amount. The narrative is we are regressing, and how we're moving forward in life. We're regressing. And then the people who do stand in front of you, like yourself, or thought provokers, or people who are like calling this stuff out, we automatically dismiss them and call them a coon or a Republican puppet or whatever else it is. And you don't even have enough knowledge to look into the history of where we came from, how we've been manipulated to get to where we are now. And then you want to have this conversation about slavery, slavery, slavery. And I think this was Thomas Sowell, but I never ever thought about this when I used to be like, oh man, slavery is so bad. Like Americans are bad. The English are bad. They went to Africa and they captured us and they brought us here. No, who captured us? Africans. Who sent us here? Africans sold us to the English. Point blank period. But nobody wants to have that conversation either. And we can't move forward if we're not going to be real and be accountable.
Bro, you running for office or something?
I am. 2024. No, I'm joking.
Yes, I am. I'm gonna start talking to people with my thumb.
No, man. Look,
making promises.
I love having these conversations with people because I have these conversations with my friends over the phone and stuff. And if I'm wrong, I'm very open-minded to listen to both sides. But I'm gonna hit you with facts always, because I do research. I go down the rabbit hole. If something sounds off or sounds weird, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole.